the summer of 972, the future of a newborn Slavic state balanced on a knife's edge. A German Margrave armored, and confident, crossed the Odo River with one goal: crush the rising power of Mieszko I. Most Europeans had never even heard the name Poland. And yet, the empire on its border already feared it. The German commander, Odo I, Margrave of the Saxon Ostmark, believed the campaign would be easy. He had imperial backing. He had cavalry hardened in border wars. He had the advantage of surprise. He had only recently converted to Christianity just 6 years earlier, in 966. His realm was young, fragmented, and surrounded by enemies. And yet, in just a few hours of battle, this little-known Slavic duke would change the map of Central Europe. Because, at Cedynia, Mieszko executed one of the most precise ambushes of the early Middle Ages. But the true shock is this: the battle never should have happened at all. The emperor had ordered peace. The Margrave ignored it. This is the story of a forbidden war, a rising kingdom, and the first recorded victory in Polish history. In the late 10th century, power in Central Europe revolved around the Ottonian Empire, the realm of Odo I, later Holy Roman Emperor. To its east lay a mosaic of Slavic tribes. Among them, one ruler was consolidating power: Mieszko, the first of the Piast dynasty. By the 960s and 970s, he had unified territories around Gniezno and Poznań, forging the early Polish state. His baptism in 966 brought him into Latin Christendom on act with enormous political weight, but his growing strength alarmed the empire's eastern marcher lords, especially Odo I, Margrave of the Saxon Ostmark. The immediate trigger was Mieszko's expansion into Pomerania, a region between the Oder River and the Baltic Sea. Controlling Pomerania meant controlling trade routes. Odo wanted that influence. Mieszko was taking it, despite imperial instructions to maintain peace, although chose force. The Annals of Quedlinburg, a key contemporary source, record that Odo launched a military campaign against Mieszko without the emperor's permission. The battlefield was near Cedynia, a fortified settlement on the Oder. The surrounding land was ideal for an ambush. Hills, forests, and narrow passages. Mieszko understood this. He prepared a two-stage trap. With him was his brother, Czcibor, also spelled Czcibor, a commander mentioned directly in medieval chronicles as leading part of the Polish forces. Odo's forces crossed the Oder, likely expecting a straightforward confrontation with a less organized Slavic army. Mieszko allowed Odo to advance slowly, confidently into terrain where he thought the Poles were retreating. But the retreat was deliberate. It was the setup. As Odo's troops, primarily heavily armed cavalry and border levies, pursued, they stretched their line. When they reached the narrow valley near Cedynia, Czcibor struck. Polish warriors emerged from elevated positions, attacking the Germans from the flank and rear. Simultaneously, Mieszko's main force turned and charged from the front. The chronicles describe the battle as a decisive Polish victory. Odo's forces were overwhelmed. Many were killed near the riverbanks as panic set in and the retreat turned chaotic. Odo himself barely escaped. For the first time, the Piast state proved it could defeat a major imperial commander on open ground. When Emperor Otto I heard of Odo's unsanctioned war, he intervened immediately. Both commanders, Mieszko and Odo, were summoned to Quedlinburg in 973. Mieszko appeared as the emperor's fidelis, a loyal ally. Odo appeared as the one who had violated orders. Otto forced both sides to cease hostilities, but the political victory was clearly Mieszko's. He retained Pomeranian influence and imperial recognition. Cedynia became the first recorded battle of Polish history, and a symbol of the state's emergence on the European stage. Here is the irony. Odo marched east, believing he would crush a minor Slavic ruler. Instead, his attack unauthorized and ultimately punished gave Poland something priceless: a recorded birth moment. Before Cedynia. Before Cedynia. After Cedynia, chroniclers across the empire knew exactly who Mieszko was. A victory in a single morning secured his dynasty's future. It strengthened his position with the emperor. It cemented Poland as a recognized Christian principality in Europe. and it proved a truth that would echo for centuries. In the Middle Ages, power wasn't always decided by the largest empire, but by the ruler who understood terrain, timing, and politics better than his rivals. The rise of medieval Poland did not begin in a royal hall or a coronation. It began in an ambush, in a river valley, where a young state announced to Europe, simply and unmistakably, "We will endure."